Well, good morning. It's a very mild morning here in Ourense. The street sweepers are out just cleaning up after Saturday night, and there are a few workmen out there as well. We're heading to sea today. Got about 22 kilometres. It will be a bit of a climb out of town today, as you'd expect, because we're at a fairly low point. In fact, I think on my research yesterday, I believe this is the lowest point in the Camino so far that we've been on. So anyway, so it'll be a bit of a climb this morning. It is a little cloudy, I think, but I think hopefully we'll be okay weather-wise. It's dark, but I'll be walking in town this morning, so we've got some natural light there as well. And yeah, feeling good. Had a wonderful stay. It is a very enjoyable city, very nice city indeed. But looking forward to seeing Osiera and heading further northwest today. So I'll ping you once the sun's up. Ciao. Well, you can probably tell by the heavy breathing. It's been a bit of a steady climb. There are two routes you can take today, and I have no idea which route is more meritorious over the other one, but I took the right way, the one to the right. It's the one that my guide took as well. I think it's a little longer, but you don't have to climb as much, so I don't know. I'll tell you later whether I've done the right thing here, but yeah, just a very, very progressive climb. There's another two walkers here. I'll ping you soon. That's Ourense there, or the other side of Ourense, the old town side in the distance there. And this is where we're headed. Yeah, that has been a steep incline. I am drenched. You definitely don't need to wear a jumper. Whew. The people around here must have very good legs, that's all I can say. Well, it's not quite the top, but I thought I might just shoot this now before I go too far, and then I can't see town anymore. I can see there just in the foreground the bridge. That was one of the motoring bridges that I looked at yesterday. So I was staying basically directly straight ahead there in the old town, which you can't see from here. There's too many tall buildings, but yeah, that's a formidable walk. If you did that every day, you'd be very fit. We're not over it yet. This is still climbing here, albeit at a less steep rate. But Ourense, whether you walk here or not, it's one of those classic cities again, like Merida, like Caceres, like Salamanca, like Zamora, that you could just visit on a holiday and be totally enthralled and enjoy the sights. Savage dog. Well, the going here is considerably easier, I have pleasure in reporting. Yeah, the road, or this road we're on at the moment, is relatively level. Just cruising along the crest of this hill here or something. No more views of Ourense, that's in the distance now. Just to note there, I've seen some new walkers. I just passed a couple back then, and another couple that I saw yesterday. I suspect that you'll probably have some more walkers joining us now from Ourense, because I think it's about, Ourense is about 108 kilometres from Santiago, or just over 105 kilometres, something like that, and that allows pilgrims to, or qualify for a Compostella, which is like you might say a certificate of completion or something, right? Where you've got to do a minimum of 100 kilometres. So Ourense is perfectly situated for that. In fact, I think we've probably just crossed under 100 kilometres just now, actually. So yeah, it may be a little more busier, we shall see. The couple before had quite light backpacks, so they may, which could be totally sufficient for, you know, the couple of days walk into Santiago. It is magnificent again, coming into these treed avenues. Though I think there is a climb on the other side of this, but this is lovely in here. Look at that. I would very much like it to be like this for the rest of the day, but it's unlikely that'll be the case. I think we're walking through some fairly old forest here, actually. Some beautiful looking trees with growths on them, covered in lichen. You won't see that into the light, but maybe this side. Just wonderful. Well, coming into our first larger villages today, Tamalancos, I think this is called. Tamalancos. You can see a church in the distance there. I'm going to stop here for a while. These wonderful looking vegetables. And we've got the corn dryer in the middle of town. Quite sure where to go here, but there's a bar down there that I'll check out, but I'll just check around here first. And there's Square, which is lovely, with another wonderful corn dryer. Absolutely no idea where I'm headed. These windy roads here, and they're so narrow, and maybe if I had a drone I could see from above where to walk, but anyway, we'll find the bar, have a rest, and I'll be back on the road soon. Ciao. This is interesting. I went to the bar just in the last town there, which is on this road, right? And I've just continued up on this road to rejoin the Camino, rather than go back into the town there. It was pointless doing that. But there's a police car here, or a civil guardia car here, and they're stopping the traffic to let the walkers across the road. So there's a pack of, I don't know, 15 walkers there. So I don't know whether this is like a charity event or whether these punters are going all the way through to Santiago de Compostella. I'm not sure. They don't seem to be carrying much gear in the way of backpacks. But anyway, bit of fun, so I'll have a few more people on the walk today, no doubt. Interesting. And guess what, I'm not crossing the road, so I won't get these guys to help me out, unfortunately. So I've missed my calling there. Okay, ciao. Yeah, just back on the path again with my walking mates here. Yeah, it's a charity walk, I think. They've all got numbers on them, and can I just say they're walking very quickly. So maybe they have to put in times or whatever, but no, I think I'll just plod on at my regular pace here. But they are seasoned, I think. Well, what could be nicer though, coming out on a day like this and just doing a walk like this. This is just magnificent. Oh, and I've got someone here to guide me. This guy up here and the chap up here in the fluoro vest. I feel quite privileged. Well, we've left our charity walk. It was getting busy there at one stage, so I'm sort of happy to be on the path on my own now. So we're just, I am just on this country, little country road again, winding our way through the hills. I think there's a bridge coming up here, and I suspect we've got a bit of a climb. But this has been a really, really nice day's walk. Very pretty, just lovely rolling countryside, plenty to see, lovely flowers, barking dogs, just splendid. This is wonderful. It's another one of these man-made structures that look like they've literally just become part of the earth around them and part of the landscape around them now. Look at that. It's so pretty. No water in there at the moment. Oh, look at the workmanship here. Just lovely. It's interesting. There is no water in the little stream there or creek. Just have a gut feel it hasn't rained a lot in this region for a while. I mean, they might get occasional showers, but I don't know whether their rainfall's been at normal levels. So you had the bridge there, and you've got basically the remnants of an old village that was on the river, which would have been a logical place for it, no doubt. Obviously when that river had water in it, would have been more handy for the village. And here, the corn dryer. Wow, this is a real gem here, isn't it? That you sort of just come across these places. Look at that wrought ironwork there across the doorway. This is our next small village. It's called Concello or Cuccello d'Ossia. So it's in some way, well, it includes the name of obviously the town we're headed to today. Again, it looks like a town. Well, this end of it looks like not many people live here now. These buildings look like they're abandoned. Just passing through another small village. There are so many now that they're not even listed in my guide. It's amazing, isn't it? We used to do something like 30 k's or something at one stage between towns, and now they're just almost interconnected to each other. Now, there is one thing though, and I think one of the towns further back, I thought it was Concello de Sia, because it was written on one of the chairs there, across one of the chairs there. Well, as it happens, I've just walked through that village, and there's another chair there called Concello de Sia. So I assume that means district of Sia, not the name of the town, because that would be one big town. Yeah, I don't know what the name of that previous village was, and they sort of all blend into each other, and there's no signage. There may be on the roads, but there's not from the Camino pathways into town. So apologies there, but they're all very nice. They've all got their own character. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Just coming into Sia now. Interesting, there seems to be piles of rough sawn timber. I assume there's obviously mills in the area, and they provide this for the local residents there to burn. It's very kind. There's dogs in this trailer, and there's other dogs going crazy. It's corn dryers. I'll just wait till I get past this racket here, excuse me. Oh goodness me, that was noisy. Just recapping on today's walk, it was wonderful. Obviously the walk out of Ourense there was pretty tough, but once we were on that, once we were up out of that valley there, the walkings look relatively flat. I mean, there are some shorter hills and whatever to climb and descend, but not too much of a problem. But just a wonderful day. It's just feels nice, and it scenery was beautiful, and yeah, just a really good day's walk. So I'm very happy. I just ran into two other colleagues there who were just stopping there at a restaurant just on the outskirts, and they've given me the good news that they're forecasting rain for the week, for the rest of the week. So tomorrow's walk is to a place called Luxor or Bendoiro or Bendoiro. Now that is a really long day. That's 30, I think 7 k's, and given we are in the hills, I think that'll mean an early start. But then again, I don't necessarily want to walk too much on the by torchlight either. So yeah, anyway, I see this Concello de Sia. This is the same town. Anyway, so look, it'll be a big day tomorrow, early start, and I'll catch up with you then. Ciao. Well, there you have it. Things don't always go as planned. I did get to see her before the rain, which was good. Found something to eat, which was good. But my accommodation apparently wasn't booked, even though I'd booked it over the phone and whatever. I suspect maybe they got a better offer, so we move on. So I'm going to push on to Osiera. There is I think there's a monastery there. So let's hope they're open, and happy to take on a lone pilgrim here. It hasn't really, when I say raining, it's very light at this stage, so I'm hopeful it will just hold for today. But you can see I've got my backpack cover on there, so Anyway, look, you have your good and bad days, and you just gotta work through it. Just looking at signs here. Sorry about that. And here we go. Osiera, 8.5k monasterio. Well, I've never slept in a monastery before, so this will be a new experience today as well. Okay, ciao. Well, this is the part of the path to Osiera. It's actually a road, but it is just wonderful. Look at this. Look at the stonework, the moss, and the canopy of trees. It's interesting, as it gets a bit darker, the camera doesn't draw out the colours as well as it normally does. So that's just how it is. I pointed at the sky a bit. It makes them look a little richer, but yeah, this is magnificent. The path has been very good so far. Look, we're not that far out of Sept, but yeah, this is very pleasant walking as well. Well, we're coming into a town called Silverboa, and we're still in the hills here, obviously, but aren't they wonderful, those stone fences between the paddocks there for the animals. This looks to be a very small farming town here. And in reality, given it's a Sunday afternoon, I suspect I might be the only thing moving in town here. Just look at that. That's from where we've come from. I've just been climbing out of that valley there. You can see over there onto the right, there is sort of like a sun shower, and just layers and layers of mountains in the distance there that I assume we've sort of wound over or come over the last couple of days. Oh, that is just magnificent. It's been a steady grind. We're on a road now, obviously, but yeah, steady climb up this hill. But look at that. Again, it feels like we're almost in alpine conditions again. Yeah, but just through the trees there's a little village nestled into the side of that mountain there. There's one over the back there as well, and there's a village just here in front. And just past that dead tree there, you'll see that there's a church just off to the left there. Aventella. Oh yeah, this is I love walking along these sort of ridges where you can sort of look out into the valley beyond and just try to take it all in. It's just magnificent, and it's just so quiet now at the moment. Anyway, I think we've got about 1.5 kilometres to go. I just stopped for a drink before. Would you believe it? There was a little bar that was open, was empty. I felt sorry for them in a way. There was I assume a husband and a wife couple running it, and it's just seemingly no business for them, right? And if they're relying on pilgrims, I don't know how many of those you could expect to come along today. Maybe 10, 15 tops. I felt for them, but they were great, and I asked them about the monastery and whether it was open, because that's my next challenge. But they said yes, which is good news. So we've got about 2.5 kilometres. Hang on, I'll just pull off while this car goes by. They're cars that are towing little dog trailers, and whilst it has been quiet here, there's been a few of them that have come along the road, so they're either off to an event or coming back from an event. I hope they're looking after their dogs in there, and I hope they're well loved and well cared for, even if they don't perform well. Well, I've just come into Osiera. We've been just walking essentially along this river here, and whether it was meant to be, it's just started to rain, but this magnificent building in front, I assume is the monastery. It is enormous. It's enormous. It's enormous lengthways, and its width is also enormous. Now, assuming it's open, we'll have no trouble staying in there. They must have 1,000 rooms in this place. It is so big. Let me just go on the other side of the road here. Gee, that's probably the biggest building we've seen for ages. It is huge. It must be, or at least 100 metres long from just along this side. I know on the Camino Francis there's a in Samos, yeah, from memory, there is a monastery there which is beautiful, but it wasn't, I don't think it was anywhere near this size. I mean, we're still walking along the cloisters here, and we're still walking along the outside. On the inside it must be huge as well. Anyway, let's see if they've got space for one lonely pilgrim. That's promising. There is windows open up there, doors open up there, so let's see what this has got. Morning from Osiera. You might just see there the monastery in the background, perhaps not. It's about 20 past 8, and as you can see, it's near pitch black. This is a very strange experience. Yes, I've got my wet weather gear on. It rained, I think, very heavily last night, and they're predicting showers this morning. So look, this is likely to be a wet day, but as it's happened just now when I've left the albergue or monastery accommodation, the rain has actually stopped, so you never know. I might be able to skip between the raindrops today. We're going to a place called Bendoiro today, and because in a way it was fate yesterday that my accommodation was cancelled or something on me, it's made this day far more pleasurable. I think it was going to be like 37 k's, now it should be about 28, 29 k's. And look, I don't know how that's going to be. It could be a tough 29 k's, but it's much better than 37. So looking forward to, I don't mind getting some sunlight, I must say. That would be very handy. Other than that, a reasonable night's sleep and whatever, but it is a very good facility here, the accommodation, so that I can't complain about. Okay, I'll come back to you once the weather clears. Once the sun's up and hopefully the weather clears. Ciao. No, this is not a mistake. They're my tootsies, and this is what I can see in front. And it's, would you believe it? It's 5 minutes past 9. I'll put my poles up in front here, you'll see. There. So, good shot of the poles, but nothing else. Look, just in the distance, the two Spanish guys who followed me out this morning, and whether or not I led them on a bum steer, but we've just seen after 40 minutes our first directional arrow. So, I've just been following my mapping app this morning, and considering it has been so dark and continues to be, I mean, you can't see anything there apart from my sticks. Maybe the road out is not bad. Fortunately, hasn't rained, and so far today, and the temperature, well, I'm just in a shirt, but we've been walking up the hill here, and it has been quite hard work. So the body's warm. If I could just see where I was going, that would be great. One thing just probably to mention, talking to these guys here in Spanish, or trying to, it's definitely a good idea to invest some time on Duolingo or the various language classes that are out there, learning some basic Spanish phrases. Look, I'm really happy I've spent the time to book accommodation, and you can see how successful I was in doing that yesterday. But it really does help you. There's not, surprisingly, there's not a heap of English spoken still here, and we're well in the north now, right? So it is what it is, but look, I think it helps, and it also puts their mind at rest as well. Sometimes they look at you, and if you can speak a bit of Spanish, it really just makes the locals' jobs a bit easier, and I think they become a little more relieved. I don't know whether that, here you go, don't know whether that is it is a Camino arrow down the bottom there. You know, it's interesting, just after saying yesterday how great I thought the signage was in Galicia, and definitely coming into Sia, it was unbelievably good. And then once I had to leave Sia after I found out I didn't have any accommodation, it just went, it just fell apart. The signage here isn't very good at all, actually, and considering we're, what, I don't know, 90 k's, 80 k's out of Santiago, it's weird. It was fantastic at the border and has been all the way through to Sia, and then the signage hasn't been great since. So anyway, we'll get there. They're the small problems in life, but the rain seems to be holding off, so I've really got nothing to complain about. I've had almost an hour of walking now without any rain, so maybe the small mercies, I should be grateful for that. You can't see, but there's a valley there, and there's a house with some lights. So that's our morning, and it's what, 9:10. Okay, speak to you soon. Ciao. Just a further update. That's that lump in front is a tree. So we are getting some light here. That was a really funny moment. These two Spanish guys that I've led astray this morning are down the well, whatever, but we are on the path, so they can't really blame me for that. I thought my arrow spotting was bad. I spot like a sight hound compared to these guys. They are worse than I am. Guys are just back there, and they stopped at an intersection, and I was sort of had to catch up and whatever, and literally there was an arrow painted on a rock right in front of them. So yeah, anyway, look, the funny moments you have on the trip, right, they're all light-hearted, but makes me feel good that perhaps my arrow spotting's not as bad as I thought it was. Anyway, cheers. I apologise, I don't know the name of this village, but I mean, look at that effect. Everything looks waterlogged, which it is. We just came down a path before, and yeah, there'd been heavy rains overnight. All the grasses and whatever had been flushed and washed one way. Nevertheless, you've still got your ubiquitous dog here going crazy. There it is. Just needs a bit of love. And I've got my Spanish mates up ahead who tend to come to an intersection now and wait for me. That's desperation if you're waiting for me to give you directions. But anyway. Oops, I've started up a bit of a chant. They're feeling pretty perky as well. Yeah, I think you've got to feel good here, actually. And let's face it, every 10 minutes without rain's 10 minutes without rain, so small mercies there. And it's actually quite mild. I'm only walking in a shirt. I don't know what the temperature would be here, 16, 17. It's not as cold as it looks. Okay, we've been off the road for a little while now on secondary paths or tertiary paths here. You can see that we must have got a lot of rain last night. It would have been interesting walking through it, no doubt, but yeah, a lot of the paths are very, very wet underfoot. Back on the road again. This is a secondary road. The motorway appears to be off to our left here. It's interesting, as much as I joke about my humble, very fluorescent poncho, I'm actually happy it's very bright. It's quite cloudy up here, and when you're walking on roads, it just gives you that bit of confidence you need, that hopefully motorists can see you a little earlier. Anyway, about to go into some quite heavy cloud here. Just figure out where we're going. Well, I've just stopped in Castro Dozen for a drink. This is our first stop of the day, and we've got about 18 or 19 kilometres to destination. As it happens, yeah, me and my Spanish friends took the wrong path this morning. I hope they forgive me. And I think we added at least 50% more distance onto the walk, because I just caught up with other colleagues there at the cafe, and they'd walked about 10 kilometres, where I think we've probably already clocked up about 15 today. But anyway, so be it. At least we got here, so that's the key thing. And the good news is the rain is still pretty much holding off. We're back on the road again. Not quite sure if this is the Camino here. It follows the route taken by the person who put my track down, but I haven't seen any signs for a while, so we shall see. But this is essentially the same road that we were walking on before, and it's the road we'll end up on tonight. Ulla, and welcome to Lalin, which is a lovely name, Lalin. This appears to be a decent sized town, actually. Obviously a commercial centre for the area around here. And all going well. I am definitely not on the Camino, so this is not necessarily Camino footage, though the Camino does come into this town, so I'll no doubt meet up with that soonish, I think. But the walk-in has been okay. I haven't done much footage. It's been basically along this very road. It's not too busy. There is a turn off to the motorway, and some of the cars, I think, use that route from Lalin to the motorway, so that was a little busier there. But other than that, no, it's pretty safe, and the shoulder's not a bad size either. Anyway, happy to be here. Just maybe stop for a short while and then continue on my journey. Just leaving Lalin. Just had a brief stop there, had a drink, and picked up some provisions you'll see, well, it seems a long way away on the camera, but there's a sign there, Santiago, 47 kilometres. It's sort of a bit, just almost a little unbelievable in a way, but yeah, that's 47 kilometres. I can't remember what the distance is for the whole walk, 980 or something, all around that. I might be wrong, so just don't quote me on that, but down to 47 kilometres. As you can see, it's 2 easy days, though the Camino will be a bit further than the road because it'll weave in and out. Hey, that is of course if I decide to stick with the Camino like I haven't done today. I think we may have a crossing down here where we might mate up with the Camino again, but my accommodation is on this very road that I've been walking now for a lot of the day. Yeah, 47 kilometres. It's gee, at a pinch you could, well, it'd be a big day, but you could do it in one day from here. This chap here has kindly parked his car in front of the marker there. So yes, we are back on the Camino again, which is nice. By the way, that distance marker there said 53 kilometres, so you can see there's a 6 kilometre difference between the road and the path. So that's it's more than 10% difference there. Well, good morning from Bendoiro. Just leaving my accommodation now, and would you believe it, it's a clear sky at this stage. I've still got my lime green backpack cover on. Hang on, I'm getting upset by some car lights there. Just in case, we've got about 30 kilometres to do, second last day before we hit Santiago, fingers crossed. And yeah, looking forward to it. It's sort of, in a way, a bit strange. It seems to have gone a little too quickly. But anyway, we'll find our way out of here. It is now 20 past 8, so yes, I've been slack. In fact, I slept through the alarm this morning, which I don't know if that's a good or bad sign. But at least I can walk in some form of light, unlike yesterday. Oh look, I didn't recap on yesterday's walk. Look, not a bad walk. The morning there were some pretty sights, but as you saw then I was stuck pretty much to the road, so it was really getting distance behind me, but not a bad day, at all. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what the day ahead will bring. Okay, I'll touch base with you soon. Ciao. I thought I was bad with directions. I just had a chap in the full riding gear stop me. He was having a snack at a bar that I walked by just then, or having breakfast, and I walked past him and he sort of shouted out to me. He said, "Oh, look, that's the way to Ourense." He's pointing at a marker in the distance there. And I said, no, it's going Santiago to Santiago, and he was adamant it was going to Ourense. So then we had a war of maps and tracking devices and whatever, and so he might have been riding the wrong way today. So and you know, bikes, they can do very big distances compared to walking, but that poor bugger has been heading the wrong way this morning. For how long, I don't know. So anyway, interesting stories. Okay, ciao. You can see we're just on a path, a meandering path here that's winding through the beautiful hills there, and that's the view. Oh look, there are hills and whatever, but nothing overly difficult to cover off. And the roadways here just off to our right. So they've done this very nicely. I was sort of looking at the maps yesterday thinking, oh, we're going to be on the road again, but so far, touch wood, we've only done 1 or 2 crossings and it's been pretty nice. Capture more of this beautiful path today. The walking's been very good. Sorry about the shadow there. The walking's been very good. Undulating hills, rocky in places. You can see here a bit stony in places, but still good condition considering perhaps the amount of rain. You can see the debris on the ground where it has been. I think it was that heavy shower the night before last, or heavy rains overnight. You can see that they've washed the leaves downhill. But this is nice. It's even, dare I say, a little bit balmy up here. You can feel a little bit of warmth in the air, which is nice. And that's actually been a bit of a surprise. I won't shout the odds yet, but I actually bought a feather jacket as well for the walk, thinking that I might need it up north here, or north of Spain, but at this stage, no. I don't think, well, I definitely won't need it tonight, so I've been able to get by with just a jumper, but as always, you've got to cater for all eventualities on this walk, so it's very pretty, isn't it? We've come down this, excuse the sun there, rocky path here that I suspect gets washed out. It was fairly wet up there. Well, welcome to Seville. It looks like quite a decent sized town here. I'm just making my way through town. I will stop, have a drink and just have something to eat. It's the time, it's 20 to 11. There's the church here, or a church, I don't know if it's the church. Here, another one of these cities that must have grown at some stage, sort of a blend of 70s, 80s architecture and the older buildings. Ulla. That's very pretty, isn't it? There's an art exhibition going on here too. Perfect. It's nice they use buildings like this for activities like that. Just on a path, just off the road. In fact, we're sort of right next to the road here, but looking at this beautiful old house. just in front of us there. Lovely gates. And there's the valley there. What a day. It's hard if you're just watching this, but the weather is just perfect for walking. There is this slight, there's this slight warmth in the air, a little bit of humidity because of obviously the rainfall, the wonders of the huge trucks that are going up their service road. Goodness me. You know, it's odd in a way. It doesn't sometimes matter how quiet you think the country road is or how sleepy it is sometimes. There's always a car or someone else coming along the road. Not in all cases, but in a surprising number of cases. It does show you that obviously it's a decent population here in Spain and they're always on the move, so that's going to be the situation, right? Just back again on obviously these winding roads that we're going on away from the freeway. One thing I have noticed, particularly over the last day or so from Lalin, is that there seem to be towns and villages everywhere now, and Santiago is a big city in itself, and the reality is we're only 35 kilometres away or so, but there's a lot more industry, and you can see just there across that valley there are lots of houses. Well, welcome to our next town, Bendoiro, I think it is. Again, very similar town to, I think, Osiera, which was the previous town we walked through. It's a real hive of activity here, noisy and whatever, but it's a bit of a buzz. Anyway, I think we'll push on to our next town before I stop, but this seems to be a very convenient place to stop to. Plenty of cafes and bars around. Back again, just in the previous clip you might have seen some people sitting down at a bar. They're having a coffee just in the street here, and the chap stopped me. He actually spoke very good English, so one of the three people there stopped me and wanted to find out, you know, what I've been doing and where I've walked from, and he was so happy. I'd come from Seville, and he even offered to buy me a drink, which isn't that sweet. It is like that, but it's such a nice gesture. Good people, and very happy to see walkers coming through their town. Isn't that nice? Perfect situation. Hi there, just coming into Dornelas, I think it's called, or Dornella, and as you can see, the rain's also just coming into Dornella as well. So don't know if this is a temporary type thing or longer term, but I just thought the setting with the church there was just very pretty. I think we've got about another 4 to 5 k's to walk today, but I might just get the backpack cover out and get the poncho going. Okay, ciao. Just a nice autumnal shot from another one of these paths that we're walking along here. Most enjoyable, and you might even see those light green teal type colours in the background there. They're eucalypts that they're growing in the area here. So there's pines there at the moment, but obviously they're wanting to trial the eucalypts, which will grow rather rapidly, I suspect, around here, and those ones look very healthy. We are deep inside a forest now, and we're coming, I think, toward a bridge or Ponte Ulla, which is where I'm staying tonight. There's a large bridge in this area that was, I think, constructed for the train, which looks like an engineering masterpiece. But yeah, this we've just come down a very steep path here. They reckon a 10-degree gradient. Well, there you might just see straight in the distance there. That's the bridge they built for the train, but really steep. Like I suppose my worn shoes are slipping on. You can see some of the road here because it gets very wet. It's got a sort of like a mossy growth on it. We're about to descend again in another stretch here. Just come into Ponte Ulla now, Ponte Ulla. I assume this is the Ponte here in front of us that's crossing this valley, connecting the two sides together. In fact, there's a tourist bus waiting. It must be just a single lane type affair. Very pretty with the town there just nestled on the other side of the bank there, or the river there. Look, that was a really, just recapping on today's walk, it was a really nice walk today. Gee, they've done it well. Lots of different scenery, hilly in parts, the trail pretty good, but obviously stony and rocky sections. Gee, that was a steep section just coming into town there. It was actually asphalt, but unfortunately it became very greasy with the rain and obviously the moss and whatever that's growing on it. I slipped at one stage. I didn't go over, fortunately, but gee, it wouldn't be something I would want to walk down if it was teeming with rain, particularly with shoes that have clocked up a few kilometres now. But yeah, fantastic day. I think my calculations were a little wrong. I think from my accommodation it's been about 32 kilometres to get here, so I can definitely feel it. No, look, I'm happy to be here, and from here, there you go, from here to Santiago, I just saw it there, it's 21,206 metres, so 21 k's, so not far now to go. That'll be a late start tomorrow. It's pointless getting up too early because I'll get to my accommodation too early. You can just see in the distance there the bridge that's spanning, and some of the stands in the centre there are huge. I saw them before, but that's the train bridge. That's bringing I think the fast train across. Just make sure I don't get squashed here. And that's the motorway on the other side. Oh, what a wonderful setting. In fact, the weather does suit this, so very happy to be here. Yeah, looking forward. Hopefully, touch wood, should be okay now, hopefully, but getting into Santiago tomorrow and checking it out again. Okay. I'll catch up with you soon. Ciao. Good morning, and as you probably guessed, yes, we have had some heavy rain overnight. In fact, it's still raining. Pretty fresh. I've got my jumper on. Hope I don't get too hot under the poncho here. But we're about to start our 21-kilometre walk into Santiago. Had a reasonably good night's rest. And obviously looking forward to the trip ahead. I've delayed the start a little this morning because of the rain, and I was wanting to get some daylight, but I'm going to fail in that regard because it's still dark and it's past 8 o'clock. But we've got to push on, and once we get a bit of daylight, I'll come back online and give you an update. Ciao. Okay, well, we have daylight. I've been probably walking now for at least half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. And as you can see, it has stopped raining. In fact, it was only fairly light rain this morning when I left. I needed a poncho. and I had to stop because I was getting too hot. I had my jumper on, so that's a mistake for newcomers. A fair bit of climbing this morning, so I ended up basically just getting wet through perspiration under my poncho, but yeah, it looks okay at the moment, and the sky looks fairly light, but I suspect we're just going to get showers, and as these systems blow across it, I think it will come down again. So that's just how it's going to be today. But I'm very happy that it's not raining at the moment, and I'm very happy that we're on a bit of flat land for a while, because that was a pretty progressive climb for a little while there. So anyway, all going well. The paths have been good, and as you can see, we're on a roadway now. Isn't that lovely? Just got a rainbow there. Does that mean it's raining over there? Nice to see, but it shows you we do have a little bit of sunlight at the moment as well. So yeah, very pleasant to see. Well, I suppose with every rainbow you've got to have rain, so we're getting it now. You can see it running off the roof just here off to the right. It is very wet, and we're on a sort of a muddy, rocky path too. So anyway, it is what it is. We'll push on. I'll try not to get the phone too wet. Ciao. I don't know whether you can hear that. I found a lovely haven here. I think I will stop and just have a bit of a snack for a while. The rain is torrential. It is just, you can see it running down the path. We've just come down the path from over there. Okay, it's just ebbed a little bit now, but that that was really heavy. Oh well. Oh, this is wonderful. They've got an area here. Let me just back up a little bit. Well, they've got some tables and chairs under here, so I don't know whether it's a refuge. It was just sheer luck that I found it. Mind you, there's a bridge just ahead that goes under the road there, so I was going to take that down. But yeah, I might sit this out for a couple of minutes and just see whether it dies down a little bit, but that was really heavy just before. Oh well, finally we've got our drenching rain. Oh, here it's picking up again, you can hear it. Okay, ciao. Okay, just an update. Just come up a very steep hill. The Camino path is really working hard at the moment. It's winding its way all around this freeway, back and forth and up and down. You can see that village we could see before there from the refuge. Just a point on that, I would like to thank very much the Spanish people who built that refuge. It was really heavy when I walked under there, and it just seemed to come out of nowhere, the rain, and I was stuck on that unmade path there for a while, and was just very fortunate that some kind and considerate people had put that in, so many thanks to you. Very pretty vistas from up here, particularly with the sun being out. Everything is just so green. We've still got our outskirts, I believe, of Santiago over there. There's a very impressive building straight ahead, very nice looking older building there. It's interesting, we're a fraction over 4 kilometres out and we're still in rural countryside. It's quite mind-blowing. You'll be happy to note that we have a whippersnipper going there to welcome us into Santiago. He's working hard, that chap. But But yeah, we're sort of down in the valley at the moment, so there are no views per se. So apart from obviously this beautiful vista, but we may find that we're approaching from the lower side. So yeah, we may not get views of Santiago. I haven't obviously done this walk-in before, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. But anyway, pleasant day. Haven't seen any walkers. There's two ahead. So haven't seen any walkers up till now. So it's still very quiet on the Camino Sanabrés. A couple of rapid moving chickens. And down the road here, that's the view straight through. You might see the spires of the cathedral there. May not, it depends on how the camera's resolving that, but yeah, it's a good sight. You might just be able to make out one of the spires in front there. It's a little bright, sorry about that. It's a little dark down here. Such a magnificent town, no wonder it's full of tourists. It's so very pretty. There we go, try to get a bit more. What was meant to be. We have clear blue sky now. We've arrived, so we'll be able to get some nice shots of the square outside the cathedral. Tourist Central. Magnificent Santiago de Compostella Cathedral, called Cathedral of Santiago de Compostella. Just magnificent. Just entering the Squirrel Plaza here, and you can hear the Spanish bagpipes in the distance there. Just as this opens up in front of us here, a couple of other pilgrims there, and this is Chockers. There are pilgrims here of every shape and size from all over. It's amazing. I mean, we haven't seen this many backpacks for a long time on this walk. It's wonderful. I think every time I've been visited here and been in Santiago, the cathedral has always had works on it, but at the moment it's empty. I'll have to capture those on some sort of wide angle lens, but oh, look at this. There's walkers everywhere here. Anyway, I'll sign out. I'll just congratulate my colleagues here. Yeah, it's fascinating atmosphere here. There are so many walkers. Just, you know, after basically coming off a walk, there's very few people. There are so many walkers here from all of the different caminos that have joined. There's tears, there's hugging, kissing, you know, shaking of hands. I actually walked into town today. I've actually walked the entire distance on my own, but I walked into town with two other pilgrims, two other chaps who I met on the way, and none of us started on the same day. So I haven't seen, in fact, anybody, any of that group, that first 12 of us that I think sort of started out at Seville. I haven't seen any of them since, so I assume that they are either here or they're on their way, and that's just how it is. It's the blending and the mixing of the nomadic individuals who are just heading their way across the country. You can hear the bagpipes in the background. but it's good to be here. But my journey continues. Tomorrow we don't have to get a very early start, or won't have to get an early start. I think it's only 20 k's, and we're going to head westerly toward the coast, where we've got to stop there, and then we've got, I think, 2 30-kilometre type days ahead of us. I suspect we're going to get some weather, so be it, that's how it is. Yeah, happy to be here. I'm just trying to capture everything in that shot there, and we'll check out the town again, and I'll catch up with my mates for dinner. Yeah, ciao.